Hello, and welcome back to Recursed, the Ice Palace with Brian. Last time, I struggled a bit on Sack, and so I decided for today, we're going to start with Deficient in order to get a fresh look at something new. So let's do it together. So we start out with a key, an enchanted block, and an enchanted chest. And we'd already need to use the block in order to get upwards. And we'd have to lift the key, we have to get a fissure. Okay, this has a lot of the same elements as the previous puzzle that I really struggled on. Alright, first off, without thinking too much about it, let's do this. And I guess going up and to the right isn't going to help, so let's use this to get over here. And the only thing we can do immediately is to get a fissure. So let's get a fissure. And so that would allow me to bring the enchanted chest into itself, which seems pretty interesting. Yeah, I think that would be like enough just to already be interesting. So I could simply set this down here. Oh, but then if I exit, I'm at the top level with nothing. So I need to bring a fissure out when I exit, I believe is what I'm seeing next. So that I'll have a way to go back in with the key. So let's exit with a fissure. And then if I were to bring the key in now, I may or may not have enough. Let's just find out together. Okay, so now I can bring the key into this whole mess. And I probably want to preserve the height that the key already has for now. So let's do that. And now, let's see, I could walk up there. Let's just try this to understand the physics of it. But I don't believe I can get the key up here. I can jump up here, but I can't get the key up here without the block up here. So that's our next problem. And if I were to go in here, like this, I end up at the bottom, but now I have the ability to get a fissure at this level, which means I could move a object over there. Yeah, starting to see things. So I could grab a fissure where I'm standing in the upper left, and then move the block there. But then I wouldn't be able to get up there when I jump back down. So the question becomes, I could get a block up here, but I don't think I could get me up here at the same time. How would I get me up here at the same time? It seems the only way for me to get up here is maybe I could hop out of the enchanted chest at some point up here. Yeah, I can hop into the chest, somehow throw the chest over here, and then hop out of the chest. That seems plausible. So the question becomes, if I hop into the chest right now, I can always hop back out. So that just puts me at the fire exit. So now, before I exit this fire, I want to move the chest. That is possible. Before I exit this fire, I want to move the chest. I can do that like this. Grab a fissure. We pop back out of the chest. Oh yeah, we pop back out of the chest. Okay, so I could throw the jar. Yes, except for the jar is not an enchanted object, so that's not going to work. So I do need to throw the chest. If I had already been in the chest a stack deeper, then we could do it. Here we go. Okay, so this object that I'm holding is not going to be useful to me right now, so I'm simply going to hop into it and then pop out of it in order to break the jar so that I don't get distracted by it. So I'm going to hop into the chest twice. I'm in the chest. I'm in the chest twice. Now, by creating a fissure, I'm going to come out once. And I want to be prepared to exit again from the chest at some point in the future. But first, I'm going to bring the chest into the jar so that I can throw it across here. Now the chest is up there. It's an enchanted object. It's going to stay up there in other copies of this room. Now I'm going to exit the jar. And now, if I go through this fire, I will exit the chest on the previous level that has the key on the ledge. And so I guess I want to bring the block along so that I have it. So now I'm up here with all these objects, which is super terrific. Now I just need to do a little bit of careful manipulation of these objects. I've unlocked the door. That seems like great progress. Now, in this instance of the room where the door is unlocked, and there's a bit of physics when I was enumerating all of the aspects of the world that I didn't talk about before. I think if you put an enchanted chest inside a door and then go into a deeper frame, like you might get into a conundrum or something, or a paradox, and go into one of the paradox worlds. So I think there's a paradox in this world, but I don't want to do that right now. So how do I make progress from here? Well, I can bring the chest up to this level, because this is a nice little jump. So that's great. And the question becomes, can I just jump from... Hold on. I can jump from here to here. So I maybe see a way to get the block up to this level as well. The idea is something along the lines of throw the block to the left-hand side. This is non-destructive, so let's just hop into the chest. So imagine the block was on the left-hand side. That would not help me because I still couldn't get up here. So I'd have to drop the block down to the bottom and use a fissure. I'm trying to get the block up to the chest. I need to exit with the block another time, so I needed to be another level deeper into the chest, I think. And I think currently, if I were to exit the fire right now, I think that pops me out back into a jar of the top level of the puzzle. But just in case I am misremembering, because I don't think there's a way forward at this point. I think I already needed to be a level deeper in the chest. But in case I'm misremembering, let's exit right here. And if I pop out of the chest, we win. Nope, I popped out of the jar at the top level. So I did remember everything. So I think I know what I need to do. Alright. So, we need to get a fissure. And... how am I going to get the key? In... One moment, please. Processing, processing. How did I do all of this? I need to eventually get the key in. The key's going to have to go into a jar at the end. But I also need to get the chest inside of itself. So I guess I get the chest inside by doing this, and then I bring the key inside, and then I just need to jump through the chest twice at the beginning. Maybe that's all I need to do. Okay. So let's bring the chest inside. It has to be at the bottom to start, I believe. Exit that jar. Oop, crap. That's just platforming. That's the thing I hate the most about this game, is you accidentally do something with platforming you didn't mean to do. I didn't mean to jump in the jar. I was just trying to jump over the ledge and go over to pick up the key. And I failed at it. Alright, I can make myself less likely to make that mistake in the future by putting this jar way over here. So that's what I shall do. Now we're going to get a jar, simply so that we can bring the enchanted chest inside of its own room. Going to exit that jar. Now we're going to bring the key into this whole mess. And now I need to jump in twice. The second time... Am I recording my mouse cursor? I'm not recording my mouse cursor. The second time... Or sorry. Yeah. We're going to jump into the chest twice, and then we're going to jump back out twice. The last time we jump out, we want the chest to be on the top right to the right of the door. The first time, we want the chest to be on the middle right, and we want there to be a key there. So we have to time the key appropriately. So I want to jump in once, and then move the key to the right. And in order to move the key to the right, I need to use a fissure of this place. And a fissure is going to cause me to pop out once. This is not complicated at all. So I think I need to jump in again. Get a jar. Is this right? The jar will bind up all of this state, including the key down there. That is not what I want. Alright. Here's what we're going to do. We're going to jump in a couple of extra times to make sure we're plenty deep, to give myself some possibilities of backing up. I'm not sure if that's a good idea or a bad idea. I'm not sure if I should use discipline and make sure I get it right, or give myself some leeway. Okay. Now, I am going to need a fissure to get the key somewhere. If I get a fissure now, it will bind up everything, including the key. Then I could jump back in and the key will be on the bottom, and that's not going to help me. Right. Okay, so what I need to do is I need to jump in without the key and grab the fissure. I think. Let's try this. Gonna jump in without the key. Gonna grab a fissure. Yeah, there we go. Then I want to bring the key into the fissure and throw it to the right. Is that what I want to do? Yeah, I think so. So bring the key into the fissure. Throw it to the right. Is this right? I think so. And we're just going to continue going deeper from here until we've used up the key, at which point we can jump out. Yes, I think this feels good. Okay, so the key's over there. Now I need to get the block over there. And I can do that pretty easily because the block is enchanted, so it's easier to move around in temporary-ish ways, such as by grabbing a fissure. The key is still there. Bringing the block into the fissure. And then how am I going to get there? Right, I need another jar to get there myself. Is that true? Or I need another jar in order to get the chest over there that I'm going to hop out of? How did I do this before? In order for me to get up there and have the block up there, I need to pop out of the chest that's up there, which means I need to get the chest up there. But I also need the block up there. I did this before. I didn't have that much trouble with it. Let's figure this out. I can hop into the chest, throw the chest up there, and then pop back out of the chest. But I also need the block up there. So let's get the block up there first. I could just do that with the fissure I have now, but I need to get the chest up there as well. So I guess I need another fissure. So let's grab another fissure. Alright. We got another jar. So now I have one for each. So I can move the block up there and then move the chest up there. That seems plausible. Let's try it. Block permanently moved up there. Jar destroyed. It has been used. Now we got one of those things up there. So now the question is, if I do the other, I'm going to lose the key. I need to jump in with the key, I feel like, at this point. Yeah, I should have still had the key down here, and I can still recover from this position. Actually, I don't know that I can recover from this position. Maybe I can. And maybe I actually do it. What happens if I do this? Now I come out of the jar. Yeah, the key's there, and now I'm going to lose the key forever. Okay, so I see what I did wrong. I need to carry the key up there when I do all of this. I think possibly I have all the information in my head. Okay, so that goes in there. I need 2 jars. One of them will eventually bring the key into the room. The other one, right now, will bring the chest into its own room. That work is done. That jar is done. Now the key comes in. Now I'm trapped in this room forever. I want to carry the key out of the chest, which means I need to bring the key into the chest. Okay, so once again, I'm going to do more levels than I need to make sure we're very deep inside this chest. Eventually, I will carry the key out of the chest when the chest is up on the middle right platform. So, I want to eventually carry the key out. But now I first need to move some things in, which means I need a couple of fissures to move them in. So, grab a fissure, move the block in. If I throw it across, can I grab a fissure? Hold on, hold on. Did I just do this in the wrong order? I've done this twice already, and now all of a sudden I'm blanking. Don't I need the block to grab the fissure? So how am I gonna... right, I know what I did. Right, so let's just exit that one. Alright, I need to grab 2 fissures while I have the block on the floor. Got it. Okay, so grab 2 jars. Jar number 1. This jar will be used for moving the block upwards. Jar number 2. This jar will be used for carrying the chest upwards. Now it's time to move the block upwards. Boom! Block is over there. 1 jar is used. Now it's time to move the chest upwards. Oh. And I accidentally pressed the button at the wrong place and went through the fire. And now I've lost everything. Darn it. It's so easy to do an irrevocable accident, or irrevocable action by accident in this game, and I find it very frustrating. Alright. Let me just get back to the known state. I think this one I have reasoned through very well at this point, and so I'm starting to feel good about it, that I can do things quickly. Alright. We have the objects in their initial starting locations. We brought a key into the room. We're going to bring the key very deeply into this chest to ensure that we'll be able to pop out of the chest with the key at some point in the future in time. Then we need to get 2 jars. This jar is for moving the rock up. This jar is for moving the chest up. Then we're going to move the rock up. The same button on the controller used for picking up blocks is also the button used for exiting through the fire. And so that's where the problems are coming from. I want to, okay, put down the jar, not walk through the fire. Pick up the chest, not walk through the fire. Now move the chest. Okay, so both those objects are there. And now I will be there with the key. So I brought all these things upwards. Great. Now, there is danger of jumping into the chest unintentionally, so I want to move the chest if I can. Not that jumping into a chest unintentionally is really that bad of a thing. Okay, now I want to pick up the key. And I do want to use it right now, right? Yeah, I'm pretty sure I want to use it. Okay. And now I want to bring the chest up here. Yes. And now if I exit the room with the block, I'm still nested deeper inside the chest. This is what I didn't have prepared last time. And so I will pop up there, and then I'll be able to get out. So I pop out of the chest, I jump up here, I solve the room. Hooray! Now, I did notice a paradox that I believe is available in that room by putting the chest inside the open door, and I think I can execute it right now. And so rather than forget about it and try to come back to it later, let's try to do that now together.